My recipe today, I went to Thailand. We're doing a Thailand recipe. I'm actually making a coconut curry. It's a dry curry chicken. You can definitely make this curry with tofu if you prefer not to eat meat, or a fish, whatever you prefer. If you want to do a salmon or something, this is a really great dish to do it with. I marinated the chicken last night because it did say 6 hours for the marinade. It's a really simple marinade, so I'm just going to show you what I use. I use a can of coconut milk, and I use a green curry paste. Then this morning, all I had to do was just put a little bit of salt on it, and then we're just going to put it in the griddle pan, and you'll see the results after. So I got it in the griddle pan. You can put this in the oven. I prefer not to. You're going to hear a sizzle right now. Okay, the chicken goes in.
That's one of the things I love about curry, is that you can do all sorts of different things, like proteins and vegetables. You can change them up any way you want to.
I think this would be really good with a salmon as well. So we're going to keep that cooking. I want to get it like a nice crust on it, but also I'm going to just cover it so it cooks inside out first. And then I'll really like toast it off at the end. For the sauce that goes on the top, we have some bits here that we're going to use. I have some limes. I have fresh cilantro. I'm just going to use a little bit of red pepper. And also I have some crushed peanuts. There is some toasted sesame, and we're going to toast these up a little bit so they're nice and crunchy. So right now I have some cilantro. I've washed it already. And I'm just going to go over it quickly with a quick chop. Get it down a little bit like smaller. And then some of the other ingredients, we're going to use soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil. Then we're going to get some lime juice. I'm going to squeeze a lime in here. You can always taste your ingredients after. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you can definitely add a little bit more. Then we're going to get a spoon out. I've got my spoon here. I'm going to put some peppers in there. We're going to put half a cup of crushed peanuts. I put these in a Ziploc bag and I just crush them with a rolling pin. Then we're going to do a tablespoon of sesame oil. 1, 2, and then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. A bit more. Then we have our toasted sesame seeds, and we're going to add them in. And there you have nice topping for that chicken when it's done. I'll show you the after. We decorated the chicken over here. So here's our plate with fresh mango. There's our dressing on the top with fresh mangoes and limes and avocado. Our water of the week is blueberries because they're good for our brain, and some oranges.
I am making today a Greek bean soup. It's called a Greek fasolada. We're getting into spring now, but I eat soup all year. I love soup. I also happen to love a tomato-based soup, and this is a tomato-based soup, and it is so delicious, and I'm so excited to eat this for lunch. So what I have right now that I've been just sauteing here to soften up a bit, I have an onion. I'm softening up 1 onion, 1 celery stalk, and 1 carrot. You can also add some garlic in there. I use garlic powder instead. So the recipe calls for dried beans and to soak them overnight. I'm using canned beans. I rinse them to get out all the sodium. Now I'm putting a whole can of white cannellini beans or white kidney beans into my pot. I'm going to mix that all up. The next thing I'm going to do is, again, it's usually, if you're making the whole recipe, it's going to be a whole thing of crushed tomatoes. I made the recipe this morning, so I used half already. Now I'm going to use half of the crushed tomatoes. You want to make sure that it's not diced tomatoes and it's crushed tomatoes, because you don't want the tomato pieces in there. You want this to kind of become like part of the base of the soup. We want it to be a little bit more saucy. I'm going to just get a little bit more out. A good trick to get the rest of the tomato paste out is just add a little bit of water and then mix it around to get the rest of the tomato out. So I'll just show you what it looks like so far. We have our beans, we have our vegetables, we have our crushed tomatoes. Then we're going to add vegetable broth. I'm using 2 cups because I have the recipe here. So I'm putting 2 cups and it gives a really nice color. Now I'm going to mix this up so that you can see that it has the tomato base. And also as it cooks, the tomato color will come through even more. And I'll show you what the after looks like, because you'll see what the before is and you get a little bit more of the vegetable broth, but at the after you'll get a little bit more of the red, but you still see the red coming through there. I'm going to add my spices. I'm going to add some garlic powder, a little bit of dried oregano. Remember, when you're using dry herbs, a little bit goes a long way. So we don't want to add too much. The best trick to do is put a little bit in the palm of your hand, rub them together, because that kind of lets out those natural oils and it brings out the smell, the taste. It really makes a difference. We're going to get some pepper and some salt. So there's a little bit of pepper. I like a lot of pepper in my soup, so I'm adding more, but again, it's salt and pepper to taste. So whatever your preference is. And then just a little bit of salt here. Remember, if you're using vegetable broth, there is some salt in there, so you don't want to add too much. And then I'm going to mix everything together. I'm going to let this come to a boil. And after it comes to a boil, you're going to let it simmer for about an hour to an hour and a half. And this is the end result.
Oh my goodness.
Delicious.
That is beautiful.
And I put some parsley on top just as some garnish. I can't even tell you how good it smells in here. And this is light and airy and fresh, but it's
Nice.
so hearty, and you're getting protein, you're getting healthy fats, and it's really a good meal, and you're getting tons of good nutrients in there.